everyone! It's Taylor! And it's
It's
me. Welcome to
me.
Wild Moments,
And
everybody. Brought
that's
to
a song.
you by explore.org. And of course, the terrible T's, Taylor and myself. How are you doing, Taylor?
Mhm. I'm very well. Thank you for asking. And how are you doing, Trish?
I am also doing all right. I'll tell you about something that I think that you'll be able to really empathize with. So we all know that Taylor loves caterpillars,
That's correct.
and and so there was this. It was a garden acria butterfly, well, caterpillar, that had built a chrysalis on this one little gate that's hardly ever used.
That's Gloria.
And hi, Gloria. And so I was waiting so patiently to be able to watch this butterfly emerge. I was adamant about it. Taylor, I sent you the picture, remember,
Yes,
of the
yeah,
chrysalis.
exactly.
Adamant. It was right there in a spot that I could watch it every day. We watched it, and then 2 days ago, I saw that it had just started to darken a little bit, just a tad, but not enough to see any movement. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make dinner. I'm gonna come back down. Came downstairs, it was gone.
Who took it? Who do you think ate
No,
it?
no, it had emerged. It had broken through the chrysalis in the space of about an hour and 20 minutes.
And dried its wings and flew away.
It's gone. I even I have the chrysalis here. What's left of it.
That's unbelievable. That's
Anyway,
amazing.
that's how we're starting off today's Wild Moments, talking about caterpillars because we have a cool caterpillar clip, and we know Taylor is our resident caterpillologist.
Hardly, but I have my book
Oh,
ready.
nice,
So I'm
nice.
hoping
I've
it's going
got
to
this
be fast.
general baby here.
Ooh, we're matching. One handy
We're
for just in
matching.
case.
Oh, we do love we do love our books. Anyway, welcome everybody. We started off with a bit of a sad story there about the caterpillar. Well, just a missed opportunity. But we'll see a cool clip when we go through. And if this is the first time that you're joining us for Wild Moments, this is when we go through some cool clips for the week, or sometimes a theme, or whatever it is. So we will get into it. Of course, we are live and interactive. I'm seeing lots and lots of hellos coming through. Okay, let's go through the hellos first before we get into
I
it.
suppose we have
Karu, you
to.
say hi, Trishana and Taylor. Sorry, Taylor, I talked over you. What did you say?
I just said we have to say hello. And,
We do
you know,
have to say hello because it's actually part of our job, Taylor.
mhm. I say hello all
Yes.
the time. I smile, I wave. I get really offended when people don't wave back. Just
do
saying.
you feel suddenly like you're a bad person if somebody doesn't smile back or wave back at you?
Yeah, 100%. I
What
feel
do
super
you do?
guilty. I was like, man, I made all that effort. And then the next person I see, I'm like, I'm not doing it now. I don't like rejection. And I don't. Yeah, so it's not great. So please wave back and smile if you see me.
Well, thankfully, Taylor, we've got plenty of hellos. Casper's Dead Ghost, you say, hello, Taylor and Trish, and all coffee ready. Very nice. Well done. Amberco, you say, happy Thursday to all that make this show possible. Waving to Trish and Taylor, waving back at you. And you've got your coffee and a big thank you. Thank you for joining us. Aussie Jan, too. She's in the block. She says, good afternoon to both. You're enjoying your usual coffee. Good to hear it. Catherine is back. She says, hello, lovely ladies. Got your G&T ready for the show. Oh, yes. Love it, Catherine. Bridget McKinney, you say hi, Trishala and Taylor. Jan Powers, you say hi, everyone. Trish and Taylor, thank you again for all that we do. Thank you all for joining us. Terry Charms Life and Beyond, you say love wild moments from California. Hello, and thank you for joining us all the way from California. Before we get started into particularly the cool clips of the week where we get to discuss a little bit about IDs and animal behavior and things like that, we are going to chat about Olkirikoi. So Olkirikoi is one of the dominant male lions that we would see up at El Doño. And he's been an excellent and quite a big feature of the camera. And I can remember some really awesome clips with Olkirikoi on it. And he's collared, so it was very easy to recognize. Beautiful male lion, but also quite
Mm.
old. And unfortunately, Olkirikoi has died. But he was about 10 years old, and that's pretty good innings for a male lion. Yeah,
It really
male
is.
lions have a shorter lifespan compared to females. They engage in a lot of competition, and that competition is not just for prey. It's competition for territory for females, and there's a lot of actual combat. So 10 years is a good amount of time. He has died due to natural causes or just old age. When we say old age, it's a difficult thing as well because we don't really know what the age capacity of an
Mm.
animal is, just that their ability to recover becomes more reduced as they get older. So, Olkirikoi has died, but he had a good innings, and we were so, so lucky to have spent so much time with him. And in his honor, we'd like to start off Wild Moments today with a clip of Olkirikoi. Gosh, he was a beast.
Oh my goodness. I jumped in that moment.
Yeah, it was loud and intense, right?
Wow.
Wow.
That was interesting. Was it seemed like there was quite a bit going on.
Mm. Um, and Olkirikoi has had a lot of moments on the camps. I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen him interacting with many other lions except the other coalition member or his brother, Olaju. Um, but this for me was a great clip because it just made me feel like even at this stage where he's very old, or at the stage of the clip where he's still very old, this is not from years ago, still is dominant, he's still loud, and he's still aggressive, and he still has all those traits that we associate with a strong male lion in their prime, even though he was, aging. So that was very cool. I hope that, well, I assume this is going to make us watching the Aldonio camp a lot more interesting now. I have no idea who the younger males are that could potentially move into this space. Um, Yeah, but lion guardians are the people who are kind of have the majority of information about the lions there at Old Donyo. So
Yeah.
maybe we could chat to them, and maybe they will be able to tell us who is the swanky new crowd that could potentially come in.
Yeah, it's always quite exciting. Can definitely upset the apple cart, but it's so necessary for the lion
Yeah,
population. So if you don't know who or what Lion Guardians is about, go and read about them. They do phenomenal work as well. I'm a huge fan. So quite
yeah.
exciting to see who, like you said, who comes around next and takes over that turf. If his brother, coalition member, is able to sustain it on his own, maybe for a little while longer, but we'll see.
But we also know how this goes. For a little while longer, yeah, and then suddenly things
Just
there's a massive deterioration. The brother suddenly is thrown thrown off
mm,
course. And it's a very interesting time to watch to see what happens. But like I said, this is to honor Olkirikoi. It's not, don't feel very hot so about it. He lived what I imagine to be a full, um, dominant, healthy life. And I'm so glad that we were able to spend some time watching that portion of his life too and getting to know him. So, to Olkirikoi and in his honor. But now we can move. Oh, first we have a few responses to Okirikoi. Jan Powers, you say, sorry to hear of his passing, but grateful he got to live a full life in the wild. Absolutely. We absolutely agree with that. But now let us move on to some other clips that are really cool that we especially want to chat about during wild moments. And first up, we have a giant plated lizard at Oldonyo. Did you hear me stutter there? I was about to say at Okirikoi's waterhole, and then Oldonyo came out. But luckily, it's the same thing. Oh, lovely. So I must say, when it comes to lizards, I'm not the best at IDs, but to me, this looks like a giant plated lizard. You can clearly see the scales, and they're not protruding enough to be a rough plated lizard, and it looks fairly big. What do you reckon, Taylor?
I completely agree, especially with that characteristic sort of lighter coloration, sort of below its head. On a,
Yeah.
what would you call that? Its neck. That's very typical of the giant plated lizard. And you might find maybe it's a young one. I don't know. It just looks
Yeah.
it looks so clean and beautiful, unless it has just recently shed. I don't know. It just looks like it's in such good nick. They always make me laugh though. These lizards, how they kind of have, I don't know, like the word a chinek, when you kind of don't have any
Oh,
definition between your chin and your neck.
like a
I always
crinkle?
have to. Yeah, I look at them and I'm like, you guys, that's exactly what's going on with those creatures. But they're so nice to see. For those of you that don't know, that is the second largest lizard family in what am I trying to say? After
Southern
the
Africa?
monitors, Southern
Oh,
Africa,
after monitor
and
lizard.
after monitor lizards. So
Well,
I mean, I know we're in East Africa,
might
but
be
it's
the whole of
pretty.
Africa, actually.
Actually, I think it is the whole of Africa. I always just say Southern
Yeah,
Africa to be safe because I'm like, I know the lizard species that occur
exactly.
here.
Exactly. And
It's
then
so
you think,
terrible.
well, how many African lizard species do I know? So you've got to keep
Oh,
it.
yeah, exactly. Then I open a reptile book and I go, oh, there's about 10 different species of giant plated lizards. Wow. Okay. Or plated
Yeah.
lizards. Sorry, not giant plated lizards. But, anyways, very nice to see. I'm always so surprised with the reptile interactions that we get at Oldonyo. I think that's like, it's something that you don't expect to see at a waterhole and to be a focus. I mean, look at the agamas, for an example, how they've stolen the show quite
Mm.
often. So that's something to add to the list if you ever get to Oldonyo. Never mind just all the wild and the big hairies and scaries that kind of come around, but all the reptiles too. It was nice, a short
Yeah,
sighting,
and
but
the
they usually
birds.
oh, the birds, yeah, absolutely. Also really epic. And
Um,
butterflies recently,
oh, gotta love a
so many
butterfly.
of them. Mhm.
I believe that some of you thought that the lizard might have been a skink, and sometimes it can be difficult if you're not sure what you're looking at. And for one, when we talk about lizards, that's an order called Squamata. That's skinks, chameleons, geckos. Those are a lot of different types of lizards, and all of those things are lizards. And so there's subtle differences. Obviously, with a gecko, you're not seeing traditional scales. They have soft skin, but they are kind of what are anatomically similar to a scale on their skin, but it's not scales like this. And then obviously you know what a chameleon looks like. But when it comes to skinks, being able to tell the difference between skinks and um, plated lizards, for example, like this one, or giant plated lizards specifically, um, it can be difficult, but skinks tend to have shorter limbs, and sometimes they can look like a snake with limbs, which is very odd and very funny when you see it. It looks
You
like,
only need to see
someone
it
just,
once.
yep,
Mm.
you only need to see it
Mm.
once.
Only need to
Exactly.
see it
But the
once.
more
And
you
you
spend
never.
time with with even just paging through a reptile book or spending some time out in the bush looking at reptiles and trying to figure out what's what in terms of the actual all the lizards there could potentially be, you'll find it much easier. Even I'm not very good at it because we don't, unfortunately, spend a lot of time looking at lizards. And a lot of the time when we drive up and you want to have a closer look, they're gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, how many people get into a vehicle and say, I only want to look for reptiles? That doesn't happen very often. Then early mornings and late afternoons are your best bet, just saying, around rocky crevices, that
Rocky
type
areas.
of, yeah,
Oh,
rocky
yeah.
areas, rocky crevices. Anyways, we
What
know.
do you
Outcrop.
Hard crop. Kaori also said the male agama especially is beautiful. Yes, I'm a lizard, and it is very beautiful. We get that one there, Roldonio. Very lovely. Bob from Kalamazoo says, Happy Thursday, Trish and Taylor. Hello, Bob. Thank you for joining us. Giral, you say, Good day, Daimo Duo ladies. It's a dark, dreary, cold winter day in Toronto, but you're spending wild moments with both of us and the beloved
Ooh.
critters, which brings huge smiles. What a lovely message. Thank you, Giral. All right, off onto the next clip, and this one's all for you, Taylor, when we're talking about butterflies and caterpillars. Let's see if we can figure out what we've got here at Rosie's Pan. Woo!
Very, very hairy.
Very
So
hairy.
immediately I start thinking about monkey moth caterpillars. With this amount of hair, it can't really be anything else. The only other caterpillars that are super hairy like this are lappet moths. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yes.
Look at that. Kind
So
of
I
like
was
my hair. Volume.
I was also thinking, yeah, leopard moths to me are always super hairy. Um, and monkey moths, but happens monkey moths I've only ever seen, or the caterpillars at least, in the book.
Oh, have you not? I've seen, so we get them all over the low felt. They are quite common. It's kind of like whenever I see one, then I can't stop seeing them, type of thing. I'm just not entirely
Mhm.
sure which species it is. Because like I mean,
As you can
I'm
see,
looking
both.
in my book right now, and this is what I'm looking at, and I'm just sort of like I don't know what it is. If it's maybe a clay monkey,
I
but it's
agree
hard
that
to.
it's a monkey. The
I don't
when we
know
look
what.
at leopard caterpillars, they're tufted on the side, not all the way. This is
Yeah. No,
like dense. Oh,
absolutely. No, I'm 99% sure that this is a monkey moth. I'm just not entirely sure which species specific. Because like I mean, this this particular species that we're looking at right now is very common. We see it in like I said, the low felts of the greater Kruger region all the time. But I just don't see one that it matches perfectly to this one, but I don't actually understand why, because it's like the very common species. But again, not all of the species of moths in South Africa and Southern Africa have been captured. It's still inconclusive. So I would have to just have a look because here they don't seem to have this individual. Like I'm actually going through, and there are very few that they're saying that actually occur up in the low felt. But anyways, we'll figure it all out. But I've photographed that species. I actually may have already logged it on iNaturalist. I just need to do a bit of digging. But very cool. Not one that you want to touch though. Or
no.
if you're going, maybe just let it crawl onto you if you're going to pick it up. But I would definitely not advise. I got a hairy caterpillar down my shirt the other day, and it was not a fun experience. Did not like that. It causes such huge irritations. And then you've actually, like the shirt that I had on, I had to put in the wash because you can't put it back on, even when you've got the caterpillar out. Those tiny little hairs are broken off and they're in there, and it's just going to keep re-irritating yourself, which is not a fun experience. So definitely don't touch them. But cool to see.
Don't. Very cool to see. I unfortunately sat on a hairy caterpillar once upon a time with shorts on.
Oh, that's unpleasant.
Yeah, was unpleasant for one thigh. Yes, and it wasn't very long ago. It was about 4 years ago.
Oh wow,
Yes, not very pleasant at
that's
all. So it's those, like Taylor was saying, those little hairs they break off, and if you can imagine sort of fiberglass getting under your skin, it's very difficult to get it off. And it's not, they're not, there's no venom or poison in those things. It's just actual irritant, physical irritant, in your skin. And if you imagine, it would be very effective to birds and to any other kinds of animals around that would be interested in eating it. Now, again, just telling you stories about my life. This is what Taylor and I do, isn't it?
yep.
So I have two vegetable patches. They are my pride and joy currently. There are some tomatoes growing in one box, and they're growing vertically because I don't have a whole lot of space. And then the other side, I've got some peppers, um, and some zucchini. Anyway, I've been finding these garden acria caterpillars all over the place, all over
Wow.
the place. And they have also been living in the little box with the zucchini, along with a little
Hmm.
jumping spider who sleeps in the leaves of the peppers.
Is it not? But is this not the culprit that's eating the caterpillars?
No, no, that was a separate one. Separate
Was
one.
that
I
a
have a
separate
number
one?
of,
The dragon's
yeah.
doesn't want to eat these
Um,
caterpillars. Well, that's good.
yeah, this is a very tiny jumping spider. But these
Oh, well,
acria
that's
caterpillars, they have spines in them as opposed to the hairs. And somehow, even though um, I'm not going to touch them either way, but I'd far rather touch the caterpillar that has spines than the one that has hairs in it because those hairs break so easily. So
they
easily.
do. Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
JJ, you say hello, ladies. Hello, JJ. You say, do all hairy caterpillars make you itchy? Yes, because it's a physical irritant. It's not like they're going to make any kind of chemical irritant to bother you. If it's got hairs, don't touch it. Don't sit on it. Don't let it fall down your back.
None of those things.
Anyway, let's head on to our next clip. Let's head over to Simbavati waterside and watch another reptile. Lots of reptiles today. Love it. Ooh, this python's been down this road before.
A sneaky snack.
Snake a snack.
And the buffalo
Well, it
weaver
looks like
nests.
it's
Nice.
yes.
Oh, goodness. When everybody is sleeping.
I heard what you did there,
Oh,
Taylor.
did you? Thank you. Do you see the buffalo weaver on the right hand side though? Kind of like
Yeah.
waking up. You can see a couple
Yeah.
of them in the right hand nest, the eyes blinking. I love buffalo weavers for this. Look how the snake is struggling. Oh, for those of you that are wondering, sorry, Trish, I'm jumping in here. It is fast forwarded. That snake doesn't really move that quickly, but it's looking for
Yes,
a
thank
way
you.
in. I love how buffalo weavers, they're so smart. Birds are so smart, how they make these little false entrances. So, and I've seen it happen quite a few times, not so much with a snake, but with a African harrier hawk. Sorry, I forgot the name for a second. And how you can see them stick their legs and then nothing, nothing. And they just kind of like, not finding the right entrance until they do. And then you see them in there for longer, like, because obviously, double
Yeah.
jointed legs kind of thing. So it's so funny. I think that by
It's
having those like secret entrances, I don't think not only obviously does it delay the process of, or maybe birds being able to move around and get out, but surely that must like be quite time consuming and energy what am I trying to say? Like using a lot of
intensive.
calories, like constantly trying intensive. Intensive is the word. Like I'd be exhausted after opening doors that lead to nothing the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, what it must do for, your mental capacity as well. that feeling of failure.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. The snake is not going through that. But I would like to just look at the clip one more time because I find it really interesting that we can see the buffalo weavers on the right, but we can't see any on the left. I just wanted to pay a little bit more attention to the area on the left because at the same time, that the nests on that side don't look very dense. So I'm actually wondering if it's abandoned. I'm not seeing very many
Mm.
dark patches.
No, not at
I love
all.
how it's just
You could just about see through the nest too. It looks quite narrow.
yeah. And there was one point where it looked like the snake was yawning, but it was sped up, so I wasn't sure. It's kind of when it comes around the other side. Look at it, investigating.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, there. So I know there's a way in here somewhere.
Yeah.
It happens so
Oh,
fast
Kirsty,
though.
I'm not sure you're gonna catch it. Oh, it's fine, Kirsty. Now she's just doing it to say she can.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
That's the
yeah,
problem with us who are so competitive. I can do it. Very,
that
very
was amazing.
interesting. Yeah, I think that would be a very different clip if it was happening during the day. That snake would be in a lot of trouble. Those buffalo weavers
Yeah.
would not stand for that kind of behavior at all.
And they also look fairly chilled. Like you were saying,
Mm,
the ones on the right, they were like semi-awake. And birds have excellent vision. And not only
mm.
that, they would have been able to hear the of the snake as it moves along the nest. And they looked fairly chilled out, almost as if they knew better.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's very cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's fallen for the trap again.
Yeah. Guys,
Yeah.
wake up. Tony, I'm
Look,
tired.
look,
No.
look at the snake. Yeah. Joke's on you.
Kaoru, you say, oh no, not again, naughty snake. Yeah, I know. Because were you here with us, Taylor, when it was still Simbavati waterside, and then we had a similar thing happen with the python coming to visit, and then there were even the guinea fowl that was sitting at the edge of
No,
one of the branches, really close, which was very
I
interesting. I think that was
haven't. I
towards the end
didn't.
of
I was. I'm gonna have to go and look for
oh,
that because it sounds like a great clip.
yes. It was very cool. It's always interesting to watch snakes and how when we see snakes, my first instinct is that it's going to be erratic or it's going to come out of nowhere and I'm not going to
Mm,
it's going to be a shock, whatever kind of attack the snake or interaction the snake has with you. But actually when you watch snakes, they are so calculated, so purposeful in their
mhm.
movement. So interesting to watch. There we go.
Oh, there it is. Thank you for showing
Oh,
it.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kirsten,
Oh,
thank you. This is the clip I was telling you about. This is
yeah.
crazy.
Also, I didn't know guinea fowl tuck their heads in like that. That's amazing. The headless chickens. This is so unbelievable.
Like, I wonder what is happening in this snake's head right now.
Should I do it? Should I? Take. These. This is amazing. Can you imagine being that guinea fowl and just feeling a little tongue on your leg every now and then? Okay, just
A little tickle.
stay asleep. Stay. Yeah, it's like stay asleep. It's like hiding under the duvet, hoping whatever monster when you were younger is going to disappear. I wonder if that's what these birds are like. Just pretend it's not there. It's nothing. It's nothing. I'm making it up. It's not real.
But
Oh,
it looked like this guinea fowl closest to us poked its head out and the snake hit its head and then it hit its head and then the snake picked out his head. Just
this
a
is fantastic.
animal comedy here. And look at this. No reaction at all.
That is so. That's
It's
actually very
bizarre,
clever.
right? On
I
the
wonder.
bird's behalf.
Yeah, I wonder if. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. I wonder if just by sitting still like that and not reacting at all, played a part in the snake not trying to go for it? Oh, maybe it's nothing. I don't know. It's that's
Maybe.
so fascinating because it's not like that python is not big enough to be able to catch one of those birds. I mean, we've seen pythons catch enormous prey, much
Yeah.
larger than what they are. That was such an epic thing. Man, these waterhole cameras are just fantastic. They just, especially at night, it's so crazy what we can see.
It is very crazy. And we are out of time already. That went
Oh,
by quickly, but I'm glad that we spent so much of it. I know, but we spent so much of it with reptiles and talking about reptiles and getting to enjoy a whole lot of reptiles. But before we go, maybe just the very last clip very quickly, because we can't end without showing you an elephant. So let's head over to Tao. Oh, and another reptile.
that.
I feel like these are two giants of the bush, crocodiles and elephants.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the elephant and the blacksmith leopard because of how they behave. Oh,
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 well, that's interesting. I'd probably do the
wow.
same thing if a crocodile walked on after me.
I mean, yes, definitely. But if I was basically the biggest animal, biggest land animal in the world, I might think like, hey, no one's gonna come after me. But
Yeah.
if it's a
Shoot.
crocodile, maybe. Yeah, exactly. I feel like it
I
could
wonder
have gone either way. You know, you get some of those elephant bulls that might just turn around and say, "Roo!" Get out the way.
what,
But this time, the crocodile had the upper hand.
probably
Very
thought no
cool.
one was watching.
Yeah, a lot of the animals think no one's watching, but we are always
Here
watching.
we
And I hope that all of you will continue to watch the various cameras, pick out your favorite moments, and we get to chat to them, chat about them, discuss them, answer your questions next time on Wild Moments, because for now, we're going to say goodbye. Thank you all, and see you next time. Bye, Taylor. Bye,
are.
everybody.
Thank you.